Well, our next experiment is to try to make a larger version of the BristleBot. We're going to call this one a BrushBot. And for this experiment, you're going to need a 9-volt battery, which you supply, a cork, a motor, a 9-volt battery holder wire, and a brush, like a scrub brush, which is a little bit larger than a toothbrush. Okay, so to make your, we'll call it a BrushBot, you're going to take your motor and you're going to press it into the cork so that it doesn't, so that when it spins, it's not going to spin neatly. It's going to spin and wobble. And so we don't want it like a propeller that spins perfectly every time. We want it to kind of move around. So like onto one side. Now you might have to put a little bit of hot glue in there if it comes loose. Okay, and our next task is to put your battery onto the battery snap wire, which we've provided. And then we have a black cable and a red cable. It won't matter which one goes into which. By changing the wires and putting one in this side and the other in this side, or going the other way, it will change the direction in which the motor works, but it'll still should work. And then we're going to try to mount it all up on the back of your brush. Okay, I'm going to turn the player off and make some connections. And now I have it connected, so let's see how that works. It makes it difficult even just to hold the motor, so it ought to be interesting on how it works with the brush on it. Here we have the battery mounted on the double-sided tape. I used half a piece. And for the other section, the front section, or I should say the rear section, not the front section, we're going to put the other sided double tape. And on this one, I'm going to connect it like that, making sure that it's got room to spin. So now, on a harder tabletop, this should be able to travel across the table. Unfortunately, I did not put a switch into it. That might be something that you consider trying. And just be careful that when you make the connection, that you get it through the hole. And I don't think I would twist the wire around too many times because you want it to be able to come out. Or you can disconnect the battery to make it work. You might need to reinforce that motor a bit. So the BrushBot is just an addition to our little BristleBot that you can play with and see what you can create. We also included a propeller in our kit so that maybe you can make it air powered. So good luck with your BrushBot. And there's also some eyeballs that you can put in there to make it look like, I don't know, some kind of creature. So here we have the final brush bot. You can see we've added some eyeballs. Not very creatively though. I think we could probably put a mouth on them or something. Here we have the battery snap. To make it work, we're going to need to connect that last part. And here you can see I mounted the motor on and I put some extra tape to hold it in place. I didn't hot glue it. A few safety precautions when building your brush bot. First, when it's not in use, make sure you disconnect the wire or the battery snap. If your battery starts to get hot, and it will if you've been using it for too long, you need to disconnect it and let it cool down. Here are some follow-up questions. What would happen if you switch the wires on the motor? Would it change the direction in which it goes? How can we make the BristleBot travel more in a straight line? You saw mine running around in a circle. How can we get it to go more in a straight line? So I've included some pipe cleaners and some things like that. You might also want to trim some of the bristles to see if that changes the direction that it moves. Okay, so the BrushBot, it's similar to the BristleBot, but bigger. Good luck.